I was terrified, dude. I was terrified right out of college that I didn't know what to do. And it was shocking to me. I'd spent 8 years getting prepared. Not sure what I was getting prepared for because nobody even explained to me what I was getting prepared for.
Right.
And I think that's continuing even today. And that's really gotten me interested in becoming more connected to the world because I haven't done a lot of this stuff. I think I have a really interesting story, and it's interesting to me. And I think a lot of people are lost like I was 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I really literally just took any job I could get now in a big industry. And got lucky enough to get a really cool the first job was in the natural gas business. And that business would undergo a change. The regulators would come in and make a change, not to bore your audience on what the change was, but it was substantial. It was like a shock wave hitting an entire industry. Hey, this is going to change. And literally 50 men, I interviewed my old boss just yesterday, spent a couple hours with him, a brilliant guy named Steve. And I asked him two things. One, did he underestimate the opportunity? And he's like, oh, for sure, man. We underestimated by 100x. Okay, and
this was the company that grew into a Fortune 30 company, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, actually, I would start in the energy business at a really big company.
Yeah.
And after 2 or 3 years of learning just the basics, I realized this company was a legacy company, and they wouldn't make the transition through the change.
Got it.
I was smart enough to understand, boy, this is a big change. I don't think these other companies carrying all this weight.
They're too big to move that fast.
Too big. And he shared something with me. Now, this would be what I would do for the rest of my life, is move into just highly disrupted environments. I would either massively disrupt them or they were going through disruption, and then I would pour more fuel on them. That would be energy and a regulatory change, and then payments, a commercial. Like I saw a monster gap on the chargeback piece going, this is ridiculous. And just went in and exploited a whole problem in a business that had been there 40 years.
Yeah.
40 years, okay? So don't tell me you can't go into another industry that's really old and smash it, man. I mean, smash it. There was no one doing what we had done. All we did was focus on a different side of the value chain. Everyone had focused on the consumer. I'm like, shit, it's the merchant putting all the money into this deal. He's like an oil producer who's drilling holes in an advertising Google landscape, right? Mm-hmm. And like, if an oil producer drills a well and it turns into a dry hole, he does not keep drilling. He moves. Okay, well, advertising online, like, is CPA really worth $45? I don't think so, dude. It's not probably worth $10 until you get pure transactions that don't have friction, don't have refunds, don't have chargebacks. So I'm looking at all this going, you're telling me there's 200 million chargebacks a year, mostly on small merchants, and they make a 10% margin? Like, how is this sustainable? You're going to run every small merchant out of business. There's 50 million merchants on the planet, and maybe Visa, MasterCard want less merchants. I think it's good for consumers to have more options, not less options.
Yep.
And then, like, nobody was helping the merchant. I'm like, they're the guys spending the risk capital on the advertising, and that advertising is turning into absolute shit.
Yep.
And if the regulators and Visa, MasterCard really wanted to solve the chargeback problem, oh, you don't like subscriptions? Don't make them illegal, dude. You don't like SaaS? Make them illegal. No, we just don't like the subscriptions that are tied to coaching programs. Oh, really? So Wall Street Journal subscription is okay. The Fortune magazine subscription is okay. Even the concierge doctor subscription is okay. But when it comes to somebody buying balding stuff for their hair, which they've been doing for centuries, and they will continue to buy shit to make themselves feel better or look better, and most of these products are being made at exactly the same place. Like, take skincare. There's 2 places in the world to buy the best skincare products in the world. They're both in Switzerland. And I don't need to have L'Oreal's name on it to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
I can literally buy the same shit L'Oreal buys, stick Gary Cardone's, not that you would want my face, but stick my name on it, dude, and it's exactly the same product. Why would I have different rules? Why would Visa, MasterCard, or anyone be able to treat this merchant differently than a guy that's got a big brand? Right. And I have literally seen where companies and regulators say $50 million plus merchants get treated one way, sub $50 million merchants get treated another way. That's why I wanted to go to court. I wanted to go to court and go, really? So you're literally saying you want to discriminate against small business. Really? Is that really what you guys are saying? Because I think that's what's happening. And if the answer was no, well, good. Visa, MasterCard, why don't you drag all your fees, fines, and observations from the last 2 years and show me the Facebook one. And what do you mean show me the Facebook? Show me Riot Games on Facebook that ran 8% chargeback ratios for 4 years. How did they ever get past one? How did they ever get past one, much less stay at 8% for 4 years? That's a Forbes magazine article, really well worth plugging into the video here.
Yeah.
It's a monster article. And then they're literally blaming Mark Zuckerberg, who I am not a fan of at all, wouldn't invite him into my home. However, and I say that only just because what I'm getting ready to say, they're blaming Mark Zuckerberg for children and their parents not understanding that when they buy a game, digital money is real money. Mm-hmm. They're literally saying Mark Zuckerberg needs to teach the children. And I'm like, no, dude, the parents need to hold the kids responsible for what they're buying online. Like if my kids they ask me, can I buy this $4.95 movie? Like they don't just go rip it off and take it. So like when you read the article, you'd be like, oh my God, this really happened? So it happens on scale. And that's what I love about this whole digital world. I think you're going to see the digital world level all of these discriminatory practices that pop up. So,
hey guys, if you enjoyed this short clip, check out the full interview here. And if you want to see more clips from this episode, check it out right here.